Hello and welcome to the review of the first big and major update of Cities Skylines 2. So there is a lot of things that we have now in the game, and we finally have the editor, the map editor, and we can take a look at this and see briefly how that works. So looking at this, you have like a clean state in there. For some reason we have, I think that might be a little bit of a bug because the count of water source in there is actually 0. So if we play the game, I can put it in here, and I can also make sure that I open that and, for example, reduce the flow, increase or reduce the radius, increase pollution on these as well. As you can see, that starts showing pollution. I can even put negative pollution in there, which is interesting. Now looking at this, feels like I should be able to even make some artwork with that. But other than that, you have the everything that you would have like in the terrain. You can increase the land in some areas. You can soften the terrain, same tools that you have in game, basically. But you also can import height maps. Basically, height maps, they are real life map information that you can import in here and create your own representation of real world locations. You have climate, so you can change the latitude, longitude of your map. You can change the freezing temperature in there. I think, for example, we have now 10 degrees, and we can make freezing temperature a little bit above that, so we would start seeing snow in here, and we can have like the default, the types of weather that you can put in your map. You have some default values in there as well. You have seasons, and you can tweak that to your liking to reduce like the chance of rain, for example, or the amount of rain, which is very welcome. You can do all of this. You can add resource as well, like oil and ore and fertile land, things like that, or even groundwater source in there. And this all goes into the game. And then you can save. You can also publish this, and you can add even like objects in here. For example, like anything that you can find in here, even chickens. You can add chickens in here. Can you see how the chickens look like? There we go. Plenty of chickens. And you can publish, share with everyone in the Paradox mods and environments, and people will be able to download your map as well. Now, for me, the most exciting part is actually the bug fixing, but before we get it there, we'll talk about my second most exciting part, which is Paradox mods. So this is finally here. That's the beta version of the Paradox mods. And as you can see, we already have some mods in there that you can go straight there and download whatever you like. There's quite a few ones in here, and big shout out to Kuboid for bringing Move It to Cities Skylines 2. Thank you very much. Yang and with Anarchy as well, like potentially my favorites in there in the list so far. So you have a few options now. You can see this main screen with the feature mods in there. As you can see, you have an active playset. This one is the one that I'll be using for my Let's Play Rivertown. And you can browse all the mods. You can choose for cold mods. You can choose by European team or North American. You can choose by map, and you can choose save games as well if you want to download other people's save games. And look at the cold mods, where they have quite a few in here. We have 36 mods available in there, and you can see what they are and what they do. Potentially, when you have your hands on this, you have even more options. So, what are playsets then? Playsets are basically sets of mods that you use in one city and that you can share with other people in Paradox mods. So basically for my city of Rivertown, I'm using all these mods and I've disabled move it just to show you that I can toggle that on and off, and zooming toolkits as well. You can do the same. You can do with all the mods. You can change the order of them in here, and you can delete them by pressing this bin icon. So just by changing your playsets, you can enable a lot of mods and disable a lot of them at the same time. As we get more and more mods and assets, this will be very, very handy for us. And the library is every single mod or assets that you actually have installed. So you have some options in there. And you can also follow creators and get notified when they publish new things. So this is as easy as that. So basically, if you want to get a mod, you have two ways. You can press the plus over here, or go into the mod, have a read, and I do encourage every single one of you to read the description of the mod, because it shows you and tells you how to use it. Especially move it, there are some smaller difference in how to use it, and you have the keys that you have to press to do things. So take a look at that. That will be helpful. You have a changelog in here as well. You have information for the mod here on the right side, and the game version that you need to have. That's also helpful. Some other information about the creator and the mod and their websites. And if you see something that is wrong or might have an issue, you can flag and submit a report in here. So after you enable everything, you can jump into your game. Just keep an eye that sometimes when you change your mod, you have this list of enabled code mods changed, and you have to restart your game. So I'll restart it and I'll load our Rivertown city so you can take a look at how that looks like. Now, here we are. We have 115,000 people in the city, and one of the things that I want to start with before I show you mods in action is that the game is actually running a lot better. I'm moving like quite fast, and I'm getting 43, 49 frames per second. So it's been quite smooth. I do think though that the assets, they're still a little bit blurred in my vision. Like, I'm a little bit concerned that we are quite close, and sometimes you don't see like arms, and you have to be quite a lot closer to start seeing that, and that kind of affects the environment and how you see the game, you know? But it's performance-wise, it's much better in my opinion. I've been having, oh, look at that. What is this? Look at this. It's like rubber truck in there. So that's what I'm mentioning, like it affects how this looks. I need to go closer, and for this to really look sharp, I need to go very close. But still, I think it's a little bit blurred, and I think they reduce the quality of all assets to help improve the experience. So that is that, but hopefully we can still improve it. And we still have this issue where some trucks are very bright. Again, if you go closer, they get better. If you go far away, they just shine. So a few bugs still in the game. Well, not a few, that's quite a lot of bugs still in the game, but performance-wise, it is better. That's my first impression there while playing the game, and I spent a few hours already with the game in here. So, into the city, before we talk anything else about bugs, you can see that I have Move It, and by having Move It, I can select nodes now and change things. I can select the curves in there as well, and I can basically select anything here and move it as I wish, including buildings and like so, and then houses, trees, and everything else that we want. Obviously, not the vehicles, but everything else. You can have a play with that. One thing that we still don't have is the tools to level or match elevation, but you can still elevate things and move it down as well manually with page down, page up with move it, anarchy. It's also working, so you can basically press Control A and that comes up, as you can see by Chirper going on fire in there. So mods are here, mods are working, and I love it. That's all Paradox mods now, and I don't have any other mods from the outside. Now, a few things that I noticed in terms of bug fixing or improvements. A lot of my warehouse they've been abandoned. I had a lot of warehouse in the past, and I certainly didn't need that. So it's good to see that they were all going away. And if you delete this, what you get instead are actual factories, which is fantastic, because then we have more production in the city and we have more people working, and balance is given to the people, I would say. Another big one, although now we are having like the complaining for high rent, is basically land value. So this has changed a lot. Hopefully you can see by the color in there, and this has decreased from 200,000 and something per cell all the way down to 31,800 per cell in here, which was basically creating this land value madness and a lot of buildings being abandoned and people leaving the city, and then no one would build there anymore because it was too expensive. So this is now hopefully sorted. We will see. It looks like there is a cap of the bonus for the land value. So that's something that we will keep an eye on and see if that was fixed. In terms of land value, now there is a lot of things that will affect land value that didn't before. So service coverage, for example, for healthcare, education, police, all of that, bus stops and stations for public transportation as well, noise, water, and air pollution, they will affect negatively the land value. Shorelines give you a boost like we had in Cities Skylines 1. I would also suggest you to look at the patch notes, because there are quite a lot of updates in there and bug fixes, dozens of bug fixes. Although in my personal opinion, I was expecting a little bit more and a little bit more optimization. One thing that I haven't noticed yet, and I think this is something that I need to play a little bit more, is the behavior of the vehicles. It seems like they're still merging at the last second in there, and that's causing some traffic. Things like that are still a problem by the looks of it. Although I have to say that I've seen a lot less laning, changing in lanes in there, but looking at these, I can still see like some motorcycles going to different lanes and vehicles changing, but I think they are not changing like back and forth every second there anymore, but they're still leaving to change things for the last minute, and that's causing some issues in there. But slightly improvement, I need to play more to make sure if there was more chains on that or not. I haven't seen anything in the patch notes about that, so might be something else that was changed that is reflecting in here. But regardless, if that is something that has improved, then I'm that's a win for me. I love it. Now, one thing that I'm noticing as well is a lot less cars on the roads. Although we do have a bit of traffic in here and just here, I can't see many cars on the road anymore. Looking at public transportation, it seems that more people are actually using our public transportation now. As you can see, 102%, 103% usage. So that might be some balance in terms of what they prefer to use as services and public transportation especially. And yeah, that is also that. And I think in terms of bug fixes, take a look. I think it's better. That is still a long way. Things like if I go into unemployment, I still think sometimes, although this number has changed now, but I still think that sometimes it doesn't represent reality. There's something weird happening here. Hotel rooms, as we saw before, we actually have hotel rooms in the city, but they don't show in the graphs as well. And there are some weird things like with the graph in there. This one, and I think crime rate was the other one that we have like 3 ones and 3 zeros in there as well. If you look at education, doesn't seem like we had like a big change in there. This should be reflecting anything, but nothing has been actually shown in there. Collect and delivery mail, it seems that, yeah, there was a bit of a change in there. We seem to have reduced the amount of mail, looking at the graphs in here, if they're correct. And I think that's good because there was a little bit too much in there as well. And I think there was one more thing, which was the garbage collection. I have a feeling that they are working a little bit better as well in here. So another thing to keep an eye on and see if there was any improvements. Sometimes, again, they fixed one thing and that had a knock-on effect on this. So something else to look at. What I would think only is that why all my low density residential are complaining about rent if the net value just went down. So that makes me believe that was a new calculation on this, or it's just a bug after the changes on the land value that might be resolved if I just demolish and build new residential houses in here. That's something for us to test. I don't know if that's what it is or not, but definitely worth giving it a try. I'm also just removing those just to give it a try, and while we look into other things. And what other things are we looking at? So that is also an update and a asset pack that just came out, and that asset pack is the beach properties, and it's a paid content. So what it has 30 new buildings for North American waterfront zoning and 30 new buildings for the European waterfront zoning, plus 24 additional variants. What this basically means is like level 1, 2, 3 buildings for that. You can also have 4 new palm trees and 6 new signature buildings. And you also have a new deluxe radio relax station with 16 new songs and a new DJ content. I haven't seen that, I haven't heard that one yet. I'm still waiting for that content, but looking for the music that we had so far, I'm expecting this to be something pretty good. So keep an eye out for my next live stream, because I might just put that on so everyone can hear what that's about. So for the buildings, where you can find that, when you go to the zoning, you have this new type of zoning in here for North American and for European style. And I'm a bit concerned about this because What I'm thinking is that as we release more and more asset packs, these will start getting very busy, and doing just the basic zoning that you want might get quite messy. I'm just concerned about that, thinking about the long-term future of the game, right? Because I don't think this would be the right area to do this, but at the same time, I don't know if there are any other options, maybe filtering for those styles as additional options, and then those options would have a mix of, I don't know, if the asset pack had residential and commercial, then they would have both in there. So this is just a concern, but how that looks like, we may need to find some place in here and add some buildings for the European in there, and maybe I'll add some for the North American as well, just so we can see how that looks like. And as we get some snow, we have our first beachfront properties. Oh no. But I think it's nice to see that even those, they have like some details with the snow on the rooftops in there. I think that makes sense. Obviously, I find it hard for you to have some power issues in there, but have some beach properties on a snowy map, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll open a new map and I'll show you there. Give me a second. Alright, we are on another map now, and it's a bit sunny, and they are finishing some of the houses now. So this is a row of European houses for the new beachfront properties. And they're quite nice houses, you know, but at the same time, I do think that those variations are very much and very close to the same. So what we call variation, this one has this kind of shader on the side here, this one doesn't. This one has this type of umbrella, this one has this one, this has bushes, this has a rock, and some of them, just the North American, have pools at the back. Some of them have sheds, but as you can see, they repeat quite a lot, in my opinion. And even the larger house, they are very close to be the same thing. Some colors are a little bit changed. I think here it's easier to see. This is darker color than this one, but then you have a shed with different color in there as well, and the way the trees at the back looks like. So although we have some difference in there, they look very alike. But we do have some variations. We should have 30 types of variations, like this one, and that big one over there. And if you look at this, I'm getting exactly the same building everywhere in here. So this is potentially something that I feel like might be better if we do something like this in here, so we can have smaller houses in there, because I have a feeling that this might show you the other types of house, the 30 houses. So depends on the size of the terrain there, and that's what we will take a look now. For the North American, is a similar situation. You have very similar variations in there, and most of them have a pool at the back, and there are the variations. You have some different styles of houses in there. You have these are all different 3 styles over here, and if we go looking on the sides, you can see that the repetition is real. But you have like these 2 types of houses in here. The terrain is smaller in there, so that again, that might be how we actually show it. Maybe I'll do something like this, and we can take a look at what we get in there. Yeah, looking back at the European style, you can see with smaller lands there, you have different styles, so that's how you get that variation. Again, the only problem with that, I think, is that you usually zone a larger area and they have all the same size, so you have to be very aware of that before you actually put those houses, otherwise they will look exactly like each other. Like again, these are exactly the same models with the variations, but this terrain is shorter than this one. So I guess this, if I go from here, have the 3 is kind of a little bit better for that. You can have the option to build like this as well, and this will give you even other types of buildings. While I was waiting for the buildings to finish growing here, I saw this message. What is that? This one. Samsung Rain says it can't rain all the time, I hope. I hope the same. Like, this is a nightmare. But there you go. These are different types of buildings as well. And I love it. Like, these ones are really nice. I think that I like it. I don't know what happened there with those bushes or flowers. That's just very low poly, but maybe if I go here first person, we can see that a little bit better. Whoops. But yeah, they are much nicer when they grow like this. But you have all those variations in there, and they will show up in the city only if you zone as a low density waterfront housing. For the palm trees, you can go to the vegetation menu and you have this, you can't scroll. So I think I don't like it that you can't scroll, you have to click on this, but then you have the palm trees in there. Obviously, I don't have a mod in here yet that will put them all fully grown. You have to wait for them to grow, but you have 4 different types of palm trees in there. And the BP is the beach properties asset pack, that's why it shows like that. And finally, you have your 6 signature buildings, and they are the Extreme Athletes Villa, and to unlock you need like a bunch of low density waterfront buildings. So what we could do, I'll try to unlock that and show you how they look like. I've unlocked the first 2 buildings here just so you have an idea on how they look like. So this is the EU Extreme Athletes Villa, so that's the first option in here. And the North American Real Estate Agent Mansion, of course, Real Estate Agent. It's this one, and they look really cool. I like those 2 buildings, and I think they will fit very, very well. And I just noticed that you have like a pool on the level, underground level in there. That's quite cool, actually. I like it. But yeah, there we have it. This huge area of waterfront beach properties are in, and kind of actually look good when you look at this and feel like, yeah, this is one of those suburban planned areas, you know, that actually feels like it when you put all of them together, and it doesn't look like as bad as, especially these ones with the smaller terrains. The larger ones, they feel like there's a lot of repetition, but these ones, although there is repetition, I think they fit a little bit better. So there we have it. I think I will stop rambling, and this is all that we have. So just a recap, we have a new asset pack, beach properties, and that deluxe relax station. They are both paid content, but for the free update, we have the new editor and the modding, both in beta access and available for you to download some really nice mods already, several performance improvements as well as general fixes and improvements with some, I think the biggest one for me was the land value that we were having quite a lot of problems before. So let me know in the comment what you think about this and how do you feel about these changes. Have you tried it? And if you haven't already, when you do, please come back and let me know. Also, if you want to consider joining our Discord server, I would love to hear your opinion over there as well. See some screenshots from your cities, and maybe if you have some questions, I'm more than happy to help you out, along with over 100 other people that we have in there. You're most welcome. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Have fun. Bye bye.